A lot of us are familiar with beta-6 kitten programming and how it's been used forever in the project, in the MK Ultra projects, but not many are aware that it actually applies to the life of all fire creation beings, actually, even to animals who are also dealing with some layers of that if they are real. Um, so everything here is engineered for us not to realize that we are in daytime and in nighttime projects all the time, and that our energy is harvested and everything is disguised. So for it to appear like we are the one making the choices, but usually it's a lot of it is based on programming. Um, so beta-6 kitten programming is a very specific programming with many layers to it. You will like one of the way where its imprint is being revealed is by leopard print, feline print. It denotes 6 kitten programming. Now, we see feline prints everywhere online, on social media, on YouTube, and of course in the entertainment industry. Many public figures have a strong beta-6 kitten signature. And it might trigger yours when you watching them, when they are courting you, when they are triggering you. A lot of celebrities are themselves, of course, victims of the programs. Uh, Plus, they are used to trigger your programming as well. Many of them are the part of the monarch slave models. And you also find a lot of triggers that are mixing pain and pleasure. And of course, we know this is also at the core of the MK Ultra program with inverting. So love equals pain instead of love is free from pain. And actually, this core belief is going to be very often activated when you are dealing with with engineered relationship where you are being abused. It's going to trigger this core belief that's going to be active until you realize what is being played, what is playing. So, of course, all the content that we find on Netflix or in any US productions have this beta-6 kitten signature. It is like in every episode you watch, you cannot escape it. If you watch anything from the entertainment industry, you are being triggered in your sex kitten programming. Now it can be more active, it can be more dormant, it can be more manageable. It helps when you know it's there, when you know you have that in you, and that it can be triggered to fool you or to engineer and derail your life. Now we are allowing access through our agreement to watch especially cabal created content or cabal created distraction. And because uh, we know the signatures that are hiding and the groups that are hiding behind that. So every time we are connecting to any content, it does affect our field, and it can activate dormant programming. And many fire creation beings have a lot of sexual programming, even if they have worked a lot on reintegration for years. It is something that is difficult to uh, integrate and navigate. It is linked to that programming Good Girl Gone Bad that we see a lot with a lot of celebrities. It is robbing the innocence of the target, and it is twisting um, innocence and wholeness into um, other inverted values. Now, if you have ever found yourself buying a leopard clothing, it means that you've been subliminally implanted and imprinted. And you can notice that you do that, especially when it's being triggered. When your programming is being triggered, it's going to lead you in some avenues. You can also notice if any of the beings you follow are wearing any of that. I many times I've spotted that in shamanic guides, ayahuasca shamans, like people giving training about um, plant brews. So if one of the leader guys is kind of wearing any type of this clothing, it is subliminally also triggering other. It is sending a message. It is sending the message, yeah, please be triggered into your sexual programming. um it is also sometimes linked to low things like jealousy or rivalry, um all very pretty things. Of course, with that, they only target the reels. You will find a lot of backdrops also wearing these things, but often it is to target you if you are real. It is meant to have an effect. However small it is, it can be a very slight trigger, but you will still notice it in people, buying something from you and they have this pair of shoes or this bag, or you can find many examples. Now we've seen a lot of celebrities being metamorphosed in front of our eyes, with activation of their MK Ultra, Super Soldier, etc. programming. Actually, if you remember when Greta Thunberg was kind of sitting in front of that famous building, she actually was wearing a piece of leopard clothing, which was very strange because she's not your typical sexual asset, right? But it was like a mark, like to kind of sign the operation that was taking place, and just to code it. It's very coded, right? This reality is very coded. So this signature actually of programming can be very dormant for many years and then can become very active at certain periods of your lives. We see it very active in some actresses and actor, especially in their 30s or in their 20s, um, when they are really blossoming, and that signature can be very strong. Now, in some roles, it can be tamed and diminished, and so they're not gonna always have this signature active, and there will be also specific scenes where the signature is active and specific scenes where it's not that active, right? When people are interacting with each other, it's often with an interaction, or sometimes just also when they are alone, they can carry this very, very strong signature as well. And it's a very sexual signature. This programming is meant to suggest and actually imprint some behaviors in male and female target fire creation beings. Of course, they also have mixed sexual energy with torture methods in the program, and then they reinforce it by the entertainment industry, where you also find a lot of that. There is also a lot of sexual depravity programming, submission programming, borderline kind of behaviors as well. So all of that is really happening. This programming is implanted pretty early on, then it's triggered, it's imprinted in the program, but it's not, it might not be very, very active, though for some fire creation beings, it is very active very early on. Then it's triggered and reinforced by the entertainment industry, or it can also be triggered by specific beings who you gonna met on the past that usually gonna trigger a lot of suffering, so they're gonna trigger like dormant programming. And this is a way where you're gonna be even further accessed if you don't pay attention and unfold and understand what's happening to you. And that is, it's actually programming being triggered and not your decisions, or even you can notice very, behaviors that are uh, out of the ordinary, maybe. So these are like seeds that are that may not be fully active, but that might become active later in time. And many fire creation beings have been used and are still in different projects as sex kitten beta targets. Um, Now, it can be in the daytime, it can be in the nighttime, it can be a mix of everything. But by accessing your sexual energy, they, of course, are accessing you and your codes. Your sexual energy can actually be harvested even remotely. Like you don't, it's not about engaging in the behavior. It is a programming that is triggered and then that is active in your field, no matter what you are choosing to do with it. And it's not mentioning, well, how the access of the daytime is also influencing what's happening in the nighttime. Anytime you really are designing a whole new timeline from one day to the other in your mind, involving any kind of romantic um, relationship, it is usually kind of creating, because you are under a spell where a drug-like feeling is being triggered. And when your sex alters and other types of alters also are more to the forefront, you have psychic hooks where you cannot really perceive reality as it is. You are seeing it distorted, and because they have their own vision, and the fact that they are really being pulled towards something is affecting how they can see things, and therefore how you can see things as well. It's like you cannot see it as it is. Of course, it's linked to some more feline, it might be DNA or cat alters that are kind of coming up at this level of programming. Now, alters also are there when pain is barely bearable. And of course, they also are triggered by what we watch. So beta sex kitten programming is really a point of access. It has many consequences beyond our daytime reality. And it's a theme I will go further into in my upcoming course, Navigating Complex Relationship, Handling and Connecting with Allies. We're gonna analyze more the signature of this programming and the different layers, how it has played and how it is playing a role in our lives. If you are a real and fire creation, it is playing a role in your life. It is interesting to train and keep on training about spotting the signature of sex alters, so we can recognize when they are at play and how they influence our relationships and what we are falling for. Because this is one of the big ways where how you can really be derailed for a long time and how you can enter a lot of romantical relationships. So we will study the triggers, we will study the different types of signatures. It is different for men, for women. There are lots of different uh, templates, and it's interesting to really study what is working for everyone. So this video is just a small presentation and an encouragement to keep on working on becoming more conscious and aware about this, I believe, important signature to spot in our lives, and to keep on working to integrate. In my late 20s, I wasn't understanding many of the derailment programs that were taking place in my daytime reality. And our reality is very coded, and a lot of triggering is done by handlers, and it's good to pay attention so we stay the ones who are in control of our lives, and not the dark factions that are actually hiding uh, behind these beings who usually are very much under control. Many super soldier have a very strong signature, sexual signature. And of course, this is linked to how we are being used way beyond what we remember here in this realm. Thank you so much for watching. And I have written an article about my experience in 2019. I will put it in the description box if you want to go a little bit further about understanding sexual access, in the hope it inspires you to have breakthroughs of memory about your daytime reality.